Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another discussion video. Yesterday, we got the crazy news that Xenobutton was getting banned, and now today, guys, after talking about that, I'm bringing you guys the new expansion cards that are coming out January 17th, the same date that the Xenobutton ban goes into effect. We're getting the first ever dual color leaders. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the new cards we're getting, the applications for them, and we're really going to break down whether or not dual color leaders are broken. Of course, it's a brand new mechanic. The first question everyone has is, wow, is that or is that not broken? A lot of people are assuming it is broken. I think the way they handled it is very, very solid in terms of design. I think it's very, very balanced, but we'll get more into that as we get into the video. If you're new to the channel, guys, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. Want to get involved in Dragon Ball Super community? Make sure to check out the Discord down below. Finally, guys, 3 ways you can help the channel directly. Number 1, the Patreon down below in the description. Lots of competitive content for you. Number 2, YouTube channel memberships with a join button down below. And number 3, guys, if you want to pre-order anything or buy any Dragon Ball Super cards, make sure you use my link to TCG Player down below. With that being said, let's see what the new cards do. So, 1-drop, Son Goku, Nimbus Voyager. He is a 1-drop 5K auto. If your leader card is red and you place this card in the owner's drop area, when this card attacks a battle card, if that card has 25,000 power or less, KO it. Now, I know we haven't seen the dual color leaders yet, but it is important to keep in mind that obviously if they are of 2 colors, a card like this will apply to a red-yellow leader, a red-blue leader, a red-green leader, whatever the case may be. So keep that in mind. It's also important to know that when you have a dual color leader, you can play the different negates. Like you could play After Image or Time Magic in a dual color leader. You could play whatever super combo you want according to color. It's actually a really cool distinction for Arrival as well, because let's say like your deck has a lot of red, just inherently there's a lot of red combo cards in there. You can play the yellow super combos to make sure that you're able to Arrival efficiently. But back to this card, auto. If your leader's red, place the card in your drop area. That's the cost. I know a lot of people are confused about this card, but that's the cost, and the auto triggers when this card attacks. So the auto triggers when it attacks. You pay the cost of your leader being red and placing this in the owner's drop area, and then you get to KO a 25k or less this card is attacking. So this card's pretty weird in that it has to attack a battle card. So the battle card that you're attacking probably has to be in rest mode, unless you're playing like Yamcha and give us the ability to attack active modes. That's a pretty cool way to use the ability of this card. But besides that, it's a 1-drop that deals with pretty big threats. I don't know, this card's pretty cool. People calling it like the Kamikaze Goku. I don't know, this is very situational. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing I've seen out of this thing. Vegeta, Time for Vacation, 3-drop 20k crit, activate main or battle. That's something cool they're experimenting with more and more here. Activate main / battle. You can kind of mess with this whenever you want. Place this card in the owner's drop area as the cost. Choose up to 1 red or yellow Son Goku with energy cost of 2 in your hand or drop area and play it. So you play this guy for 3 essentially. You swing with him for a crit on your opponent's turn. If they swing at this guy or if they swing at your leader, you can essentially tag him out and play a red or yellow Son Goku with energy cost 2 or less from your hand or drop area and play it. That's really neat too, because like it gets into other dual color scenarios. Like I know there's a 2-drop red green Goku Piccolo card this can play. I don't know if that's necessarily super practical, but it's cool if that's like an interaction. And this actually fixes a problem with the red yellow Super Saiyan God Goku archetype, because there's no real Vegeta that gets to the drop area very easily. Like you have the dual color red yellow Vegeta, but it's a 10k, so unless you have a leader effect to pitch it or some type of effect to pitch it, it's hard to get it in the drop area. Other than that, you have the the hero rare Vegeta that you can combo as a 5k. You can get it to the drop area, but it doesn't get there very efficiently. This gets there a bit more efficiently. I will giving you a free play on your 2-drop Goku, but it would be really smart to look at the other Gokus this thing can play. That's going to be something you want to check out for sure. Here we go with the first dual color leader, Super Saiyan Son Goku. He is red and yellow. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 2, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it in the drop area. So you get the similar Beerus effect, except you have to attack to activate it. Now that's one of the comparisons that I've been talking about with my friends here, is that, you know, this could essentially straight up replace the Beerus deck. You could play the same shell as Beerus and just play it in this leader. But the thing is, you cannot be as passive in this leader because you have to attack to get those draws. So you can't necessarily stall your opponent out if you were planning to do that like you could with Beerus. But Awakened Surge says, choose 1 red card and 1 yellow card in your hand, place them under this card. You may draw 3, then choose 1 energy, switch to active mode, and flip this card over. The draw 3 sounds crazy, but because you're losing 2 cards from your hand, it's not very different than like a draw one, untap one. You do draw deeper into your deck, but you do lose 2 cards from your hand. And the other cool thing is you can awaken whenever you want. It could be during your opponent's combo, or sorry, during your opponent's turn, during your defensive combos. It could be on your main phase on turn 1. But the thing is, with the Surge leaders, the smart thing they're doing is they're not allowing the leaders to really gain advantage on the backside. You use the cards that you put under the leader to use the effects. And for the case right now, it seems like you can only use those effects twice. And that's where I think the balance comes in. You could awaken turn 1 against like a super aggressive deck, but you're not going to get those draws. So I think that's really, really cool. So this guy, activate main / battle once per turn. He plays 5 or less. So you do have to have a certain amount of life to use your skills. So keep that in mind. If he plays 5 or less and you choose 1 card under this card placed in the drop area, you can either choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. Man, I wish I would stop that redundant text. And negate their skills for the duration of the turn. Or you give this card plus 10,000 power and critical for the duration of the turn. I think this leader would benefit greatly from like a more aggressive red-yellow strategy. Maybe more aggressive than Beerus, where Beerus I think is a bit more passive. This could be really cool with like a Furthering Instruction Champa build. Playing like a little bit lower to the ground, awakening pretty early. I think this could be a pretty cool leader. The plus 10k crit, nothing to laugh at. And like Beerus, in a way, you do get a free 10k combo, although you don't get it every single turn you're awakened. You only get it twice, but getting it for free is something definitely to keep in mind. Sun Gohan and Videl power couple, 2 drop 15k, energy exhaust, activate main, pay a yellow. If your leader card's yellow and you place a card from your hand in your drop area, draw 1, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. They get minus 5,000 for the duration of the turn. Really good utility card. I mean, there aren't really too many great Videls and Gohans to play in like a Super Saiyan God Gohan deck. I actually have a friend who's experimenting with a lineage version of that, and it's working out pretty good so far, but this is a pretty good generic card. One thing I want to mention about the patch notes, or the designer notes for this, they mentioned that like the Videl Gohan could be used in unison for the Sun Gohan Path to Godhood, and I could have been misreading it, but it seemed like they were saying that you could send this back to the deck and it would count as the cost for both the Gohan and Videl. Tell me in the comments below if I was misreading that, but that's what it seemed like they were trying to say in those designer notes. But yeah, let me know. But other than that, I think this card's pretty good. Sun Goten and Trunks back to back, 2 drop counterplay. The battle card being played is played in rest mode, then play this card. Essentially a Crusher Ball with a body. This is pretty cool. I kind of wish they just made it like a Chomp of the Trickster, where the resting effect was an auto, just so it could get around more so like what am I trying to say, like deflect cards. If this could get around deflect cards, that'd be pretty cool. But I guess, you know, Chomp of the Trickster already exists, so they decided to put this in there for whatever reason. Cool card, but unless you really needed dual colors, I don't know why you would play this instead of Chomp of the Trickster, you know, or unless you needed the names as well, you know, for Goten and Trunks. Also a fusion material, keep that in mind. All Might Resistance, this card, pretty insane. It is a 2 drop red yellow counter. If your leader card's red and you choose 1 yellow card in your hand and place it in the drop area, negate the counter attack skill. So essentially, it is a dumbed down battering laser. You can only use it if your leader is red. You have to pitch a yellow and you have to pay 2 energy. Is this card as broken as battering laser? No, because it has a lot more restrictions, but in the right situations, it will still be broken. Nicely enough, you have to be red, so you can't use this in tandem with like Yellow Broly and Mirror Crater Absorb. That's pretty dope, but you definitely can use this in other situations with like, you know, a 4 energy turn, Mirror Crater Absorbed, Champa, Furthering Instruction Champa, and this card, that's 2 guaranteed damage. Pretty interesting. Let's see what's coming out in the blue-green version of this expansion. Heavy Kick Krillin, 2 drop 5k, auto if your leader's blue and there's a multicolor card in your energy. When you combo this card, it gets plus 5,000 combo for the duration of the turn. Pretty similar to the Deluge of Power cards, although this doesn't require you to attack with a certain type of card. It's cool for Arrival in that you can hit for big numbers. Nothing too crazy though, I don't think. Master Roshi Kamehameha Origins, 2 drop 5k, activate main, pay a green. If your leader card's green and you send this card from your drop area to your warp, choose 1 green extra card in your drop area, add it to your hand. That's pretty cool. I mean, you can recycle negates, you can recycle the new counterplay we'll talk about when we get there in a second, but paying the energy for it, kind of weak, especially when Xenobutton gets banned as a result. I don't think this card is all that playable just because of the energy it costs, but I could be completely wrong. Piccolo, we got auto once per turn. At the beginning of your turn, scry or look at the top card of your deck. You can either keep it on top or put it on bottom, then draw 1. So the way this is worded makes it seem like this is going to take place before your draw step. So you get the scry, you get to put it to the bottom or top, draw it, and then you get to your additional draw for turn. So people are thinking this is kind of crazy. It's not really all that crazy because he's just like any other leader in that you will draw one at some point in the turn. So it's not like you draw 2 for turn. You're drawing the same number of cards that any other leader would draw. But the scry effect is pretty insane. I will say that part is pretty cool. If the card's super dead, get rid of it, put it to the bottom. You don't need it. Also, it introduces like a skill element, just, you know, allowing players to gain knowledge, but also to know what card you need in a certain situation. You could put away a card you needed and you made a mistake and misplayed, and it could cost you the game. So I like that about this card. Awaken Surge, put a blue and a green under it, draw 3, untap 1, flip over. Now this leader has everyone up in a little bit of a panic. Activate main battle. If you said 3 or less, they added a pretty steep cost to this one. You can choose one of the effects by removing a card under it. If your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand, sends them to their warp. People are not liking this because it is a you know, a leader that can play Gogeta 7. So you Gogeta 7, put yourself to 3 life. Then you use the ability of this leader to rip the 2 remaining cards out of their hand, and then on their turn, if they like, you know, draw for turn and swing, you can rip the last 2 cards out of their hand. Yeah, that is a combo. I don't necessarily see it being too crazy, especially with button getting hit. A Gogeta 7 deck that has to wait till turn 4, turn 5, that can get destroyed by a lot of aggro. Again, without Xeno button, that could be very tough to defend. The other effect, you can choose a blue-green multicolor in your drop area, negate its energy exhaust skill, then place it in your energy. I can see that honestly being a much more relevant effect, and not even for Gogeta 7 purposes, but like getting that multicolor energy and then like, you know, having it to play with for the whole turn at 3 life. I could see that being very relevant. So I can definitely see this leader doing some pretty crazy things. Kaioken Goku's returns. Kaioken Son Goku returns. Energy exhaust, revive blue green, auto KO this card, one of your opponent's battle cards with original energy cost of 6 or less attacks, negate the attack. This is pretty dope, especially because with the loss of Xeno button, this card helps as additional defense for the Revive Goku archetype. And the fact that it KOs itself means that it's automatically activating Revive no matter what. So you will get the draws off your leader. That's pretty awesome. I'm definitely going to mess around with this card in the Revive Goku deck. Dr. Wheelo, Cybernetic Rebirth, 2-drop blocker, energy exhaust, auto. When you play this card, when this card is placed in your drop area from your hand by an opponent's skill or by your Revive skill, play this card, you know, when it gets ditched like that. This card's pretty awesome. Again, it helps against hand control, helps when you activate Revive. And Hidden Potential, the final card of the expansion. This is essentially Preemptive Strike. If your leader's green, negate the play of a 4 or less, and then you could choose one of your blue or green energy, switch it to active mode. So this is just a way better Preemptive Strike in green decks. Again, another automatic include in Revive Goku. So overall, I think I've mentioned in the video already, but I like the cards in this expansion. I think they're pretty powerful. I think they're definitely worth picking up. And I don't think the leaders are broken. I think the leaders are pretty well balanced. I think they'll make a good transition to the metagame. I don't think they'll skew much. I think they will see play. And yeah, I really like what they're doing with this stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.